Hey guys, thanks for joining me. So today's video is going to be an update on my journey with multiple sclerosis. For those that are new, I will post down below the links to all 3 videos that I've recently filmed. But I know that some people in my personal life, as well as some of you, have kind of just wanted an update as to what's going on. So I thought I would film that for you. So if you're interested to hear what's new in my journey. So my last video, I think, was in November, so several months ago. And I wanted to give you an update of everything that's just gone on between November and then just recently, as I've had some new developments. But I started, I think I said in that video, taking Copaxone, which is my MS treatment. I started that November 16th, and, excuse me, my nose itches. It's been, what, 5 months since I've been on that medication, and for the most part, it's gone pretty well. I get the itchy welts and the redness and the hard lumps at all of my injection sites. I have not yet gotten the lipoatrophy, where the skin cells start, or the fat cells, they start to atrophy, and sometimes you'll get like a dent in your leg. I haven't gotten that yet, thank goodness. So as far as that goes, like, the injections themselves have been okay. It's just ever since I've started the medicine, so since November, I have been probably, I don't like using the word sick, but I've been sicker than I have been in the 4 years that I've had MS. In the 4 years, I had maybe 2 or 3 major flare-ups. And since starting the Copaxone in November, since November, there's not been 1 month where I've been completely normal and healthy. And I'm not going to say that it's the medicine at all. It's just, I don't know if it's a coincidence. I don't know if my body's not handling it well. I'm not sure. Well, actually, I do have an idea of what it is, and I'll go into all of that here in a minute. But so I've been taking the injections. I would say, since November, and I think I talked about it a little bit in that video, the first thing that happened was I went completely numb, basically from like my chest down to my feet. And like, it was everywhere, my arms, my fingers, everything was just completely numb. In fact, when I would give myself injections, I really couldn't even feel it. It got so bad that like my feet, I couldn't feel my feet, and I tripped a couple times at work, at home. I ran into things and hit my foot, and just, I didn't know that it was, I was hitting it. So I went and visited my doctor up in North Carolina, and he prescribed prednisone, which, if you've ever taken a very, very high dose of prednisone or any sort of steroid, you know that it's just awful. It's you get very bloated, your face gets full. In fact, I'll go into all that, I just got done with an IV drip of Solumedrol, which is a steroid, and so I'm still pretty bloated from that. But like, everything just swells up on me. I get night sweats. My blood pressure gets really, really high. I have normal blood pressure, and it gets extremely high. My joints hurt. So it's not a lot of fun going on this medicine. And I've been on both prednisone and the IV drip several times this year. So after getting put on the high dose steroids, my numbness and my tingling started to go away, and things started to, what I thought was going to go back to normal, because I started to get the feeling back in my legs and all that. Shortly after that happened, I developed a new symptom. I'm going to butcher this name, but it's called, I think it's called Lehr-Meets syndrome. It's like Lehermitte. Basically, and it's I think a common thing that happens in multiple sclerosis patients or sufferers. Basically, like, anytime I would put my chin, anytime I put my chin down to my neck or down to my chest area, I'd get this like electrical shooting sensation from like the base of my spine up, and it would like go through my scalp, and it was extremely painful. And you know how many times you actually sit and like move your head down or look from side to side, I just didn't realize how many times my head moved like that, and I'd be sitting at work and it would happen, and it was so intense and painful. So that lasted from about the end of November to mid-January. It's finally starting to go away. Like, I just did it now and I don't have any problems, but there are still rare times where it will do it, and it's just jolting. It's so painful. As soon as that went away, I started having these like spasms in my stomach area and my back. It's almost just like someone's just like squeezing and then lets go, and squeezing and lets go. And it does that for about like 30 minutes and it goes away. A lot of times it happens when I get out of the shower, like when I've been warm. So I'm trying to like keep my showers on the cooler side, which in the winter stunk because you want to get warm. So that happened, and then as of February 24th, I started losing the vision in my right eye. And if you remember from my other videos, that was the very first thing that happened to me. That was my very first onset attack, as I started to lose my vision, and then it went to double vision for about 12 weeks. So I started losing the vision in my right eye, and I was having pain in my left eye. And my vision is back in my right eye, thank the Lord, but I am completely blind in my left eye. So, like, I can't see anything out of my left eye at all. It's very, like, over-processed and white, almost like someone's just taking a flashlight and, like, holding it up to your eye very close. My peripheral vision is okay. Like, I can see my little makeup things over here, sort of. But as far as, like, seeing out, I can't see anything. I, like, failed a vision test and everything. So I'm having to be driven around, and I'm working, but I'm having to wear these fabulous large sunglasses to keep the light out at work, so that I can see the computer relatively okay. They call me Hollywood at work because my glasses are just so very big. They're very Jackie O looking, because you know I'm not going to rock those geriatric shades. I'm going to try to find something as cool as possible. So that's kind of where I am. I started 2 weeks ago a round of IV Solumedrol infusions, a very high dosage, so I have to go to the infusion center for 2 hours for 4 days and get the infusions. And the thinking is that the Solumedrol will help with the inflammation of my optic nerve and then help my vision return. However, it didn't help at all. It did take some of the pain away in my left eye, but I still can't see. And IV steroids are a treatment for your vision. However, they don't always work. And if they do work, there's no guarantee that they're going to help you from getting this again. It's called optic neuritis, and that's what is going on with my eye right now. So obviously the steroids didn't work the first time, just because I'm still not able to see. So that's kind of what's going on at the moment. And then I have some encouraging, I guess, news, and I'm happy to share that my doctor, my MS doctor, who's up in Winston-Salem, that's about 3 hours from where I live. So it's really difficult for me just to get in the car and go. Typically, we have to spend the night before and go to my appointment and then drive 3 hours back. And when I started to lose my vision, I couldn't afford to just leave work and drive, 3 hours there, 3 hours back to see him. And so I went to my primary care doctor, and he really suggested that I find a neurologist here in town who's local, who could be someone that I contact when I start to have issues and I can't get to my MS doctor 3+ hours away. He said it's perfectly fine to have 2 doctors working on this. It's possible that my MS doctor is my main doctor, and he helps me with my treatment plan and the progression of the disease, but that I can also see a normal neurologist here when things happen who can get me in for my treatment, my infusions, and things like that. So he recommended me to a doctor here in town. I met with him. He had fit me in like that day, and he did all of the tests. I didn't have my MRI with him, so he couldn't, see my MRI, but I told him I had been diagnosed. He did all the MS tests, and he did a whole bunch of blood tests. I had like 12 vials of blood taken, and he did all kinds of genetic testing, blood testing, and to make sure that there wasn't anything else going on. And he's the one that prescribed the IV steroids. So that was 2 weeks ago-ish. It's kind of been a blur. So that was about 2 weeks ago. And then I had my IV drip. Well, last Wednesday, he personally called me at home and told me that he had my results. And actually, I didn't answer the phone. I was in the other room, and my phone, he left a message. And I listened to it, and he said, "Hey, Jessica, this is Dr. So-and-so. Got your results back." And he was like, "They're all good, but looks like we're dealing with something other than just plain multiple sclerosis. Again, don't worry, but call me in the morning." So, of course, being me, I worry. And I called the next day, left a message. He was with patients all day. So I'm sitting at work just like, oh, what's going on? He called me again that night, that Thursday night. This was last Thursday. And he said, again, nothing to worry about, but I wanted to let you know that I've tested your genes for all kinds of different things, and you tested positive for an alpha-1 deficiency, and I also have a vascular gene that I'm deficient in. And I had no idea what all this meant, so he said, why don't you come in Thursday and come talk to me. So I went in with him Thursday morning, and he explained to me what all of this meant. Basically, the alpha-1 deficiency is something like most people's body produce this protein, and my body does not produce this protein. And what the alpha-1 gene does is it's very prevalent in people with like a European history, Scandinavian, that sort of thing. And it causes inflammation of your lungs, of your like bronchial tubes, of your immune system. And having an autoimmune disease, you don't want inflammation of your immune system. The first thing he asked me was, do you get a lot of sinus infections and chest colds? And I do. I get them all the time. And it's funny because I didn't say this, but during the numbness and the layer meat syndrome, I had a sinus infection, and it lasted forever. I got it Christmas Eve, and it didn't go away till the beginning of February. And it was a really bad sinus infection, and right after it went away, my vision problems started. And my very first onset attack of multiple sclerosis, I had just gotten over a sinus infection, and then the double vision started. So I told him all this, and I said, yeah, I get them all the time. I get chest colds in the winter. And he said, what I'm thinking is that your body's immune system, when you get a cold, gets all riled up, for lack of a better word, and starts attacking, this cold and your sinus infection or bronchitis. And then when that goes away, it starts attacking, your brain and your spinal cord, and you're getting lesions, and it's making your MS worse. So the alpha-1 has nothing to do with multiple sclerosis, but it's something that causes inflammation and my immune system to be a little bit more overactive in my body. And when you have an autoimmune disease, you don't want an overactive immune system. You want it to stay level. And mine's not. Mine is just constantly in a state of being riled up. So the treatment for alpha-1 to me seems invasive, but if it's going to make me better, I'm going to do it. It's a 30-minute-a-week infusion of the alpha-1 protein. A nurse will come and administer it at my house. I will be taking this infusion, he said, for approximately about 2 years. And once the 2-year period is up, they'll take me off of it. They'll see how I do on my own, how often I get sick with sinus infections and so forth. If I start to get sick a lot again, they'll put me back on the infusion. It is something that I possibly will have to have a port for. I'm not very thrilled about that, but again, if it's going to let me live a relatively normal life, I'm all for it. I'm completely all for it. And again, he said he has a patient who has multiple sclerosis and has the alpha-1 deficiency, and she was in the same boat I am. She was having really bad flare-ups, like back to back to back. She wasn't getting any better, and in fact, she thought that her MS was progressing so much worse and faster, and that's kind of what I've been thinking. I've started not to freak out, but I've started to get really concerned that, you know, my MS is progressing much faster than I want it to. I mean, I've gone 4 years, I've been relatively healthy, and then all of a sudden, I'm sick, and I was getting a little worried that I'm getting worse so much faster. But with this new doctor and, you know, these new tests, he's thinking that there's something in my body that's making me unhealthy, which is making my MS worse. So I had last week, I had a CT scan of my chest and my lungs. I had a pulmonary breathing test where they measure your breathing and like your bronchial tubes and the capacity. I'm having a liver ultrasound because part of the alpha-1, a lot of people that have alpha-1 have emphysema or they have COPD. They have some problems with their liver. They're more prone to liver disease. And I don't have those problems, but the people, some people do get a lot of sinus issues, and I have I have a lot of sinus issues. So they did all of those tests. He's going to be reading everything and making sure that it all, like my blood tested positive, but he wants to make sure everything else aligns. And if that's the case, I will start the infusions for the alpha-1 deficiency, and I should start to see some results alongside continuing with my Copaxone, my MS medication. He thinks that I will be getting back to normal and starting to feel really healthy, and I'm really excited about that. The other gene I tested positive for, I don't remember the name of the gene, but it is a vascular type of gene. Basically, I'm very, very deficient in folic acid, and he's putting me on a very high dose, prescription dose of folic acid, which I started yesterday. So I started yesterday and today, and honestly, I can tell a difference in how I feel as far as my fatigue levels go. That's one of the reasons he gave it to me. Part of having multiple sclerosis is you're always feeling fatigued and tired, and I could sleep for 8+ hours and feel exhausted. I mean, there are some days I don't feel like I'm going to make it through the day. My MS doctor prescribed me Ritalin for days like that, and I started taking it, and to be completely honest, I didn't like it. It made me feel, while it gave me just that boost of energy to like just make it through the day, I also felt just very, very just jumpy and jittery and not myself. And if we can find a better way to replace that, a natural way, folic acid is very natural, your body produces it, I'm all for that as well. So I've started taking a very high dose of that, and I feel a little bit more just alert today. I don't feel as foggy-headed. I'm not as tired. Typically, it's like 4 o'clock right now. Typically, I would just be exhausted, and I'm not. I feel pretty good, besides the whole not being able to see thing. So I'm really excited about this doctor. He's super kooky and like crazy, kind of reminds me of like mad scientist, but he's really intelligent and smart, and I've never had a doctor who has looked at other things other than MS. While I love my multiple sclerosis, my MS doctor, neurologist, I almost feel like, you know, his job is to keep me level, to keep things going, to make sure my treatment is working and I'm not developing new lesions. But he's never tested me for anything else. Like, he never ever said, hey, let's see if anything else is going on that might be upsetting your immune system or upsetting your MS and making it worse. You know, his job is to manage my multiple sclerosis symptoms and my MS. This doctor has this completely different theory about what's going on, tested my genes for it, found out that I do have these deficient genes, and said, this is not going to help your MS, but it's going to help you feel better. It's going to calm your immune system, which ergo is going to help your multiple sclerosis. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited that I have someone here in town that I can go to. He's very smart and intelligent. He's very friendly. In fact, after all of my tests last week in my doctor's office, they were calling me saying, hey, how'd that test go? How are you doing? You know, so it was just really nice to have that. Again, I go Monday for my liver test, so we'll have that done. And then, unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but I have to start the infusions again, the steroid infusions. I start, I think tomorrow, Monday. And so I have my liver test, and then I have to start my infusions. And this time I'm doing it for 5 days as opposed to 4. And I'm not looking forward to that. I despise the steroids so much. I don't react well to them. They change me. I'm very grumpy and just not very nice, and I don't feel well. They make me feel horrible, and I'm not looking forward to that. But if they speed up getting better, they help my vision to come back, I'm all for it. It took me a little bit to get my head around having to do them again, but again, if it's going to speed up the process of my eye healing, then I'm okay with it. Last time I dealt with this, I dealt with it for 12 weeks. I wasn't able to work, so I'm very thankful that I'm able to work right now because I have one good eye, and I'm thankful that I have such a fantastic support group. Honestly, I am not worthy of the support that I'm getting from people. I'm tearing up a little bit, but I'm not. I mean, just the Facebook comments, the prayers, the people that I work with, my family, my husband, they have been fantastic through all of this. You know, my work has been so supportive and letting me go to my doctor's appointments, and just being very encouraging, sending flowers and allowing me to take the time I need to take to get better. All of my friends personally, you know, have called me and are just so encouraging. If I need anything, they're all there. My coworkers have been, I just said that, but they really have. They have been amazing. And then my husband has been my rock. He has been perfect. He takes me to all my doctor's appointments. He takes notes. He's very encouraging to me. On days where I'm feeling less than beautiful, he is very quick to tell me how beautiful I am. He reminds me when I'm having very bad days that this is definitely a fight worth fighting. So yeah, I'm very thankful for everybody in my life who is supporting me in this, because the past few months have been very rough for me. They have been a very dark time in my life, and the only way that I've been getting through it is my faith in God, is my family, and my amazing friends who are being my cheerleaders and are, you know, helping me get through everything. So for all of that, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has helped me. Without you guys, I definitely would have had a much harder time with all of this. So anyways, that is my latest update. I will keep you guys updated and let you know how things go. I might film a video at the infusion center. The nurses don't think I'm crazy. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. I'll let you know when my vision comes back. One of the most poo-poo things about all of this is my husband and I just purchased a newer car for me, and I can't even drive it because I can't see. So I'm not able to drive my new car, which is so frustrating, but it'll come back and I'll be able to drive my car. So anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging on with me. This has been a very long video. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.